I know this unpopular opinion might ruffle some feathers, but think about it. Smartphones are really nothing but Black Mirrors of Vanity. There are so many people who are overly obsessed with looking at themselves. And these million-dollar and billion-dollar phone companies know it too, so they capitalize off of it. That's why when they are promoting a newer model of their phone, their biggest highlight is primarily the camera, while the performance is secondhand. And since this promotional approach has become so monotonous, it's pretty much a gimmick. And if a person isn't wary of the long-term potential effects, the overindulgence of focusing on vanity might be an enabler for narcissism. The American Psychological Association Dictionary of Psychology defines narcissism as excessive self-love or egocentrism. In psychoanalytical theory, the taking of one's own ego or body as a sexual object or focus of the libido, or the seeking or choice of another for relational purposes on the basis of his or her similarity to the self. The definition for narcissistic personality disorder reads, in DSM-4-TR, a personality disorder with the following characteristics: a long-standing pattern of grandiose self-importance and exaggerated sense of talent and achievements, fantasies of unlimited sex, power, brilliance, or beauty, and exhibitionistic need for attention and admiration. And if you don't know where the term narcissist originates from, it originates from a Greek archetypal character called Narcissus. Narcissus is a character that died by falling in love with his own reflection. This is due to the vanity of Venus, as Venus represents love. So vanity in this context is a representation of excessive self-love based on appearance. Wikipedia reads, Narcissus rejected all advances, eventually falling in love with a reflection in a pool of water, tragically not realizing its similarity, entranced by it. The character Narcissus is the origin of the term narcissism, a self-centered personality style. This quality in extreme contributes to the definition of narcissistic personality disorder, a psychiatric condition marked by grandiosity, excessive need for attention and admiration, and an inability to empathize. I know for some people that it might sound like that I am digging for something that is unnecessary, but I just want the listeners to be aware of the origin of their stimulation that is influencing their mental health. And as a result, one becomes chemically dependent on short bursts of dopamine rushes and other convenient forms of escapism. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're not wary, this leads to neurological and physiological imbalances. Some people actually lose their mind because their overinflated delusion is dependent on looking for instant gratification, validation, closure, and reassurance from people they may not even possibly know. Some people use clout as a mask to cover over their insecurities because clout blankets doubt. These kind of individuals also use their clout to support their delusions of grandeur. There have been stories of people who do go crazy looking for that closure and that validation, and to the extreme, they may have been on the verge of killing themselves, or worse, they actually do kill themselves. All because some people didn't have enough interactions on social media, or they didn't have enough likes or comments. Some people have a strong urge or need to be seen online because their perception of life is behind a phone or computer. This has become a coping mechanism for closure to finally express their repressed thoughts and emotions with a trusted method. This is the result of looking for love, living in a dystopian society. Just know virtual reality is becoming the new norm for some people, but that's another topic. Just make sure that you are self-aware of the mental operations and how you are processing your stimulation. Be aware of how you are using different coping mechanisms as forms of escapism. Do not take all that I say out of context, because there is nothing wrong with looking good and feeling good about yourself. However, do not overindulge in your external appearance so much that you lose focus or completely disregard the foundations of the internal faculties of your soul. Do not be an empty shell or husk that is appealing on the outside, but rotting, empty, and void of a spiritual essence on the inside. Be aware of how you use different personas and ego masks to explore yourself and express yourself. Don't get lost in the sauce that you created. A page from a book called Green Man, Earth Angel by Tom Cheatham says, "We are victims of a self-imposed narcosis, numb and fascinated by the extensions of ourselves in which we are surrounded. With these gods, the mysteries and depths of the soul are increasingly distant and difficult to access.